Hello everyone, it's Kari from sunshineinmypocket.com, and today I'm using this stamp set to create some ink blended tags. Now these little lines are a little quiet and unassuming, but they are going to be so great for these tags. This is a tag that's going to work perfectly, and I am going to ink blend on Neenah Solar White paper, but I didn't want to use my Neenah Solar White 80-pound paper. This is expensive stuff. I didn't want to use it for the entire tag. So I'm going to cut out some swatching pages here. These are just little squares that I'm going to use for the ink blending, and these are 2 3/4 inch. By doing this, you can get about 12 out of a piece of paper, and so I'm going to go ahead and cut 12 tags as well. These tags I used regular cardstock, not my Neenah Solar White, so that I don't waste that paper. This stamp set did not come cut apart because of an error at the manufacturer. The stamp manufacturer just failed to cut them apart, but they are super easy to cut apart. Take your scissors and easily cut that out. And I'm just going to use the lines here at the bottom of the tag. That's what I'm going to use to label what colors I've used on the ink blending. The reason I am doing this is I've actually wanted to do this for a while because I have kept a list of all my favorite ink blends that I've been wanting to try, and sometimes I forget about them because I go to my very favorites all the time. Here's my list here that I've been keeping track of the colors I want to try together. I usually go to greens and blues, and that's my that's my go-to. But I wanted to just kind of break free from that a little bit and try something new. And so I was inspired by some cards I've seen, some home decor I've seen, just some pictures on Pinterest, and that's what I'm going to create today. Now this one I'm starting out with is Distress Ink, and I'm using a couple of shades of green. This is Twisted Citron, and the first one was Mowed Lawn. Now I'm going to bring in a little bit of Antique Linen, and this creates a bright, fun, happy limeade looking background. I think it's beautiful. So this is the Distress Ink, and I wanted to compare it to Distress Oxides. When the Oxides first came out, I did a comparison of inks between the Oxides and the inks, and I have a blog post about that where I share the differences and what they look like. And so for my cards, I wanted to have just a little swatch from each one. So here I'm done with the Distress Ink. Now I'm going to move on to Distress Oxides in the same color. But to label these, before I do that, I am going to add this to my tag so I don't forget what I have done. Wouldn't that be terrible if you ink something up and then you're like, what did I use? What was this? So for the Distress Inks, I'm going to take a little stamp from that same stamp set. This is from the Hedgehog Hollow May kit, and it says ink, I-N-K. I'm going to stamp that on the ones that I'm doing Distress Ink for, and that way I can just write on the colors of ink that I've used and then attach that directly to the tag. And there's my first one. Now for the Distress Oxides, I'm going in with nearly the same colors. A lot of colors I don't have duplicates for the Oxides and the inks. I did have the Antique Linen and the Twisted Citron, but the dark green is a different dark green. So you can see there's a little bit of difference there. And also the Oxides are looking a little chalkier here, and they will dry a little bit different. So on this one I just wrote Oxide and I wrote the colors so I can do a comparison. I started out ink blending Distress Inks versus Distress Oxides on a number of tags, but I wanted to show you how I got the most tags out of my piece of cardstock. I cut the cardstock this way so that the tags fit across that side and then they fit long ways this side. So I cut it at 5 1/4 inch, and I was able to get 5 tags out of one single piece of cardstock, and that really helped to save on paper. Now I do realize that probably one of the most boring videos you could ever watch is someone ink blending away. So I am going to speed through this, and I'm not going to show you all the ink blending I did today, but I do want to share this one because this one is inspired by my friend Shannon Pelletier, who did this on a card, and it was gorgeous. I will show you a card I made with that at the end, inspired by these colors, and it really helped me. Now this one was inspired by a sunset. My husband and I go on walks every night, just about every night, and we get to see the sunset, and he says, "What colors are those?" I say, "They're beautiful. They look like spun sugar, wilted violet, and maybe faded jeans and chipped sapphire." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Well, obviously Tim Holtz Distress Colors." He just had no idea what I'm talking about, but now it's a little joke between the two of us. So I've created a few sunset colors here and some sky colors, also inspired by the sky. And it's just been so fun. So now when we go for a walk, he expects to hear all the oxide and ink colors from Tim Holtz. It's fun. So here's a look at all my comparisons I did between inks and oxides, and boy, are they beautiful, ready for cards. Now here's another idea for you. I wanted to tell you that if you are going to be blending between some really strange colors, these are some colors my sister Wendy picked out, and they just weren't going together. So I took some lighter colors to easily blend into the other colors, and the abandoned coral blended much better with the pine needles when I added a couple lighter colors in between. The transition was so much smoother, so if you have some strange colors you're trying to blend, go ahead and add a couple of light colors in between to ease into that transition. On the back, I went ahead and wrote "Inspired by Wendy," so I can always remember that she was the one that gave me this color idea, and it's a lot of fun to keep that in my memory. So here's a look at the colors that my siblings had told me they wanted me to try. The first one is my brother John. Second one is my sister Julie. The third one is my mom. That one right there with the blues is my sister-in-law Laura, and the last one is my sister Wendy. And these were some really fun colors to try. Look at how different this image looks on each of those different colored backgrounds. And obviously they're colors I would not have picked out myself. So here's a look at all the colors that we've done so far. I'll probably continue to add to my color tags here as I go on and find some more inspiration and more cards that I want to try these backgrounds on. If you are stuck in a color rut and you need some ideas for a background, just ask one of your kids or your friends to list a few colors for you to try. Here's a look at the card. I did the colors inspired by my friend Shannon, and I think it's turning out beautiful. I haven't attached that hello yet because I'm not sure which orientation I want to put that card in yet, vertical or horizontal. Leave me a comment below and let me know which way you like the best. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope I inspired you on choosing colors and easy ways to blend those colors through if you have a really strange combination. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be back real soon with some more inspiration. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.